Hey, welcome to the Home Buyer Seminar. I'm Bill Gross, along with my colleague and friend.
Patricia Castillo.
And we're here talking about buying your first home, your next home. And one place you might consider buying your first home, your next home could be downtown Los Angeles. And really, what's kind of cool down there is there's a whole world of lofts. They're in buildings that are work slash live. There's all kinds of cool restaurants and coffee places. And Patricia's holding one open this weekend. Patricia, tell us about the property you're holding open this weekend.
Yeah, so this is located at 1855 Industrial Street. I will be there from 2 to 4 p.m. This is a beautiful complex. It's right in the heart of downtown, but closer to Alameda Street and 6th Street. So it's an iconic building, and you're going to love the amenities that this building has. I mean, other outside of the sweeping views of the city, you also have 11-foot ceilings, but you also have a gym, a beautiful pool where I would just be there all day long. But it has a beautiful pool. There's a sun deck. I mean, it's gonna feel like you're on vacation, you know. So it's a really nice place to be. Outside of the area, the nightlife, all of the restaurants and coffee houses and bars. There's also the nice views inside the condo. You have two assigned parking spaces inside the building. And it's, go ahead, Bill.
So our unit is 509, and then you're talking about, and from this unit we have beautiful
Mhm.
views right outside of the unit. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Right. So, as I mentioned, there's a gym, there's a pool. So, everything about the building just really describes what the lifestyle brings for downtown LA. You have a very walkable area, there's public transportation, and I will be there from 2 to 4 p.m. So, I look forward to seeing everybody there. Come by and
So
say hello.
again, this is the Arts District, and if you haven't been there, I have to tell you, I have a meeting there once a week. I have a relation with a business that is in downtown LA. It was at Alameda in Washington, kind of down here in the central Alameda area. And so we leased out our office space and we're looking for new space. And so we've been meeting in the Arts District at some of the coffee places there. If you've not been to the Arts District, it is really a cool, hip place. Just kind of the east side of the downtown area, close to the Fashion District, the other side of Skid Row. Very well patrolled, very secure. We've been there for meeting once a week almost for months and in different locations, and it's really a neat area.
It really is. And there's so much that downtown has to offer. I mean, you have museums there, culture, arts, outside of the, business capital that it is as well. There's
Right.
just so much opportunity there to literally walk outside of your door and have something to do, something interesting to look at. So come by and see me on Saturday from 2 to 4 p.m.
And the idea is that so many businesses downtown are entrepreneurs, like there's the Fashion Mart and fashion companies, but there's people who maybe have patterns, they cut things, or they design mock-ups, and they can do it in a loft where it's designed to be kind of work slash living life downtown. The kind of people who are working, a lot of late hours, you can invite customer because there's nice, communal areas in the building to meet with, so not coming into your living area necessarily. So it really is an interesting opportunity for people who want that live and work space together. Also, if you're working downtown, it's a way to kind of avoid traffic, avoid commute times. If you what do you do with a car? You're right there and close to all the mass transit. So definitely check it out and meet Patricia in real life on Saturday, 2 to 4 p.m.
That's right.
So what else is happening in the market? We're getting ready to close our deal in Baldwin Park. That's going to close, I think, next week.
Yes. And just to maybe we should talk about this pool issue that we had, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Because when you're buying a home, and this home that is in escrow right now is in Baldwin Park, and it has a great floor plan, but it did need some cosmetic repairs. One of the things that really I think was an eyesore was the swimming pool. The swimming pool was maybe a quarter of the way filled. It was pretty dirty. It was green, and it just didn't look nice. So when an appraiser comes out to appraise a home, they're going to measure the square footage, they're going to take pictures of all the rooms. They're going to not just focus on the inside of the home, but they're going to go outside and look at the exterior of the property and take pictures of the garage inside and out and also the pool area. And so that will be an issue because the underwriter will see the pictures and they will not pass on the appraisal. They're going to want to see that the pool is usable, it's functional, it's working properly for the new buyer. So we're hiring a pool company, a pool service to come out on Friday and drain the pool, clean the filter, and refill the pool. So this whole process takes about 4 days because draining the pool is probably 1 day, but filling it is what takes longer as well. Once it's all cleaned out, it also has to be power washed. So the plaster has to be fully cleaned. So when we fill it, it looks really nice and sparkling for the appraiser to come back and take pictures and for the appraisal to pass and be acceptable to the lender.
And then I'll put on my Speedo and jump in and test it out. And this is a case where the reason why the pool got there was the property was vacant, kind of in, out, vacant, not vacant, whatever. It's a probate where somebody passed away. So when you don't have somebody at the property, it's not maintained. Oftentimes there's also safety issues because there are requirements for new pools. You have to have a fence around it so that, if the pool's filled, somebody who can swim can fall in and like I'm a good swimmer. If I fell in a pool, I could easily swim across or get out. But if it's half filled or not filled, you fall in, you're stuck down below. You might be trapped, or if it's not filled at all, God forbid, you hit the bottom of the plaster. Even if it's half filled, the shallow area might be exposed, and you walk in and fall. You could hit the plaster and hurt yourself. So pools that are not filled are a double safety issue. You don't have a fence around it for one, and then for two, it's considered more of a safety issue to have it partially filled or unfilled than to have it completely filled up. And so it's one of the things to think about when you sell a house, how we can get out of the situation. Well, sometimes the buyer agrees to take on the responsibility. In this case, we got a really good buyer who paid a really, really good price, what I would call full retail price. It's kind of like when you go to the department store, if you buy at a thrift store, they're just going to give you a T-shirt folded up and hand it to you. When you go to Nordstrom's, they put it in fancy paper in a fancy box, and then they put that in a bag, and you walk out. Part of the experience is the packaging. In this case, we have a buyer who's buying the house, and it has to be done kind of retail level, which means the pool has to be cleaned and in good working order. And so Patricia's taking the lead on working with our vendor to get that done. And it takes longer than you think. We had it set up. There was a squatter there. They sent the person away. And as she mentioned, it's like a 3-day process to get this done. Then the appraiser has to come back and check it. Then the appraiser has to amend the report saying they checked it and it's good. Then the lender can fund the loan. So really, from the day you even start on the pool, it's about a week process before you're going to close. It just, unfortunately, is one of those things you have to get done in order to sell a house.
That's right. And if you're a buyer that's looking at a home with a swimming pool, you also want to see if there's a diving board or a slide, because I sold a home in Claremont last year, and it was a 1.4 million sale, and the buyers were having a hard time with the insurance company because they wanted the slide to be taken down. And those are things that have come up in more recent years where the pools have to be fenced for security purposes. There cannot be slides. So it's kind of like the insurance the fun out of having the pool, right? Because you want the slide, you want to slide down and fall in the water and splash. And those are all the fun things that we love about a pool.
Yeah.
But in this case, with insurance changes and all of the restrictions happening now, you really have to be careful when you're buying a home with a pool. Send the address to your insurance agent so they can run the address. They can look at it on Google or Google Earth and let you know if there's going to be any issues with insuring that property.
It's a different world, Patricia. When I was a kid, my mom took me and my brother and sister in the car, and we sit on the bench seats, We didn't have seat belts. We didn't have car seats. There's all kinds of metal pieces sticking out dashboards. Somehow we lived. Nowadays, my daughter and son-in-law are very careful. Each kid has their own customized seat, and it's installed by a professional. And they would never let us drive the kids without checking the seat was installed properly. And same with swimming pools. As a kid, how many times did we jump off a slide? And of course, the slide is designed to slide down. But how many times did we get on top of it and stand on it and jump in the pool? That's what boys do, right? So nowadays they make you take those slides out because turns out some crazy boys will do crazy stuff on it and nobody wants that liability. So
yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
So in other news, I opened escrow on a property in Bellflower, and yay, these are first-time buyers. So I started working with them about 3 months ago. Their credit was in the lower fives, and they said, oh gosh, we don't know when we're going to be able to buy a home. Our credit is so low. So we put them on a plan to improve their FICO, and it doesn't take that long. I mean, the time's going to go by anyway, so you might as well get started and not get discouraged. So we got the loan approval, went out that same weekend, showed them some homes, and made an offer. I mean, this is how quickly things start moving. So we opened escrow. We showed property on Saturday and Sunday, opened escrow on, the following week, which was Thursday, right before the holiday and holiday weekend. So my client said, oh my God, we're already opening escrow. We just saw the house a few days ago. I said, I know, this is how quickly things work, right? Once you're ready and you're in that position to make offers, then we just go full speed ahead. So we're having our inspections done on Friday. And one of the things that they asked was, well, what kind of inspections can we do? Well, you can do any inspection, right? Just depends on the property. So we're having, this property has solar panels that have been paid off, but we're having the solar panels inspected just to make sure that they're functioning properly, they're producing the right amount of, power, see how much power is being used, see what the life expectancy is of the solar panels themselves. So those are things that you would want to check out. The home we were talking about with the pool, that's not part of an inspection when you're inspecting a home. You would have to have a pool inspection done. So that's separate from your general home inspection. So we're having all these inspections done on Friday. I lined them all up for the same day so we can knock them out within like 2 hours. And then we'll be closing in a few weeks. So
wow.
These are clients that 3 months ago thought they were not going to be anywhere close to buying a home. And here we are 3 months later, already in escrow. And this is their first home. So they're super excited. And I wanted to mention one of the nice things about this market right now, or I should say more advantageous for buyers, is that sellers are helping with closing cost credit. So I was able to get practically all of their closing costs covered in this loan. And this is a VA buyer with zero down, but zero down requirement, but they are opting to put down some money. So, but no closing costs. So this is what can happen in today's market if you've been thinking about buying a home.
Call it a VA no down payment, no closing costs. And and you know what? A year or two ago, it'd be hard for that offer to get accepted because you'd have multiple offers and most
it wouldn't even get looked at.
Most agents just don't want to talk about VA. It is a little more particular appraisal even than an FHA, which is more particular than a standard appraisal. There's some paperwork requirements that are important. And so it's easy for a seller to say, no, we have 5 offers, we'll just take one of the other ones. And in this market, as a veteran who has those privileges, is going to, with a good agent like Patricia, who can advocate the power of the VA loan, because there's some positives to it. One is the underwriting is pretty, I want to say it's easy. It's easier than conventional and FHA. And so if the person's a veteran and they have their D214 with the proper qualification of time served, in some ways it's an easier loan. I'll tell a little story if you don't mind. So I used to run a mortgage company years ago, and one of my employees was sued in Nevada for discrimination against the customer. And I knew it wasn't the case, but it was a, and the salesperson who had worked for me left, so they're suing the company, which was me at that point. So I looked at the file and I realized it was an FHA loan, and this customer was just not an FHA buyer. They had, moved money from one bank account to another, and they had a lot of debt, and they had payments, and they changed jobs. It was one of those files where everything, the credit had a few problems, and it was kind of like all patched together. It was all kind of baling wire and tape trying to make this loan work. And it was FHA, and they for whatever reason we just can never get him approved. Well, we're sitting in this meeting, and the regulator for the state says to him, like, what do you want? What do you want from this company to make things whole? And the guy said, you know what? I just want to get the loan. I'm thinking, oh gosh, I don't know what I'm going to do. He goes, I'm a vet and I deserve it, a loan. I said, hold on a second. You applied for an FHA loan, but you're a veteran, right? He said, yeah. I said, do you have VA eligibility? He says, yes, I serve, blah, 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 blah. I go, well, hold on a second. I can get you this loan. Like, it's much easier than what you tried to do. And we got him a loan in 30 days. I got paid a commission. The customer got the house. Everybody was happy. We settled the case because all he wanted was a loan. And it's just a reminder to me of saying that, A, it should be, if you serve the country and we promised you a service as a result or compensation, we should deliver it. And B, it's actually pretty easy to do if you know the rules and follow the right procedures. And as a buyer, you're entitled to it. And so this is the market for vets right now, to get with a realtor who understands how to advocate for it. Make sure you get a lender who knows the VA loan and does it properly. And here's a chance to buy a house. And like she said, you might have thought you couldn't buy it. And a year ago, there's no way you would have got the house. There's no way.
No way. Because even FHA loans were not being looked at either. Because buyers were coming in with cash because they were selling their properties, staying with family or at an Airbnb, putting their items in storage, coming in with a strong cash offer, over asking.
Yep.
And so FHA and VA buyers were just so discouraged because they could not even have their offer looked at.
Well, also, I think the condition of so many properties now are in bad condition when they come to market, right? Such an increasing percentage of probate or stressed properties by percentage of homes being sold. And those are harder for FHA VA to qualify for. And a seller can say, well, I don't want to bother with all that, right? Like in this case, in the loan we're doing in Baldwin Park. But when you get a good offer, you'll do the extra work. Okay, we'll clean out the house. We'll get the pool fixed because we're getting a good price for the property. It's worth it. And with the VA, you can pay a fair price, and it's worth it to the seller to make the property pass FHA VA. And if you have to in this market, as a seller, that's what you got to do.
So, what you just said, Bill, about maybe the home was being sold as is, but then there was an offer that was received that was a great offer. So you don't want to lose a buyer. And this is another opportunity for the buyer to negotiate because the seller doesn't want to lose the buyer, right? So we want to make the buyer happy. So before we said, you take care of the pool, but now we're taking care of the pool, right? So we want to make sure that the buyer is happy. So this is not just a scenario on this specific listing in Baldwin Park, but just across the board right now. When I showed property on the weekend, listing agents were calling me on Monday. Did you show the property? Did your clients like it? What did they say? Was there any feedback? Are you going to send an offer? And now I have them calling me because they want to know why we're not writing on that property and why we opened escrow on another property. In fact, this is the first time this has happened to me, but I was talking to an agent at an open house. It was a flip property in Lakewood. And we decided, okay, that's not the property. We ended up opening escrow in Bellflower. But the actual owner, which was the investor, called me at 7:00 at night and said, can I ask you why you're not sending an offer? What's going on with your buyer? Do they not like the property? You guys were there at the open house. You talked to my business partner. And I said, well, we got a better offer somewhere else. You're overpriced. And she started explaining to me how she bought the property at $650. She put $100,000 into it. That's why they priced it. where they priced it at, and she's telling me, I'm losing money right now. I need to get this property sold. I said, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, we tried to negotiate with your business partner, but he was pretty firm on his terms. And so you guys ended up losing the buyer because they ended up writing on another property. So that this is a market we're in. It's actually becoming more and more, harder to sell a property. You really do have to market the home, price it correctly, and really work with the buyer's agents to get that property sold.
100%. They're like my best friends. On all my listings, I try to reach out to them, and there are some that are impossible. But in general speaking, they're the ones who sell the house, and my job is to facilitate on behalf of my client that to happen. It's so true. I will say, I do think this is the opportunity of a lifetime for buyers, because the market has slowed down a bit here in Southern California, and it's a complex issue. It's definitely softened from where it was a year ago. In certain areas, more so, because of all the politics going on, perhaps. I don't know if we're going to see prices go down. We're not going to see prices go up. We're going to see price reductions of listings that were overpriced to where the last ones sold for, I think. But I do think that you can expect, unless something changes, rates to go down as well. And why? Because inflation's so low. Inflation came in today at 1.66%. And we have mortgage rates at 6.7. That spread is historically high. Now, why is that, and whose fault is that? That part I don't know, but here's what I know. Those numbers converge, and either inflation is going to go up. I don't see that happening. Where I live, gas prices have dropped tremendously. I don't see food prices going up like they were 2 years ago, which means the alternative is that interest rates can come down. And for a home buyer, interest rates going down is the same as the price of the house for you. The value going up once you bought it, but you can afford more house at the lower price. So it's like the price is dropping in essence because your monthly payment goes down. And if you buy the house, you refinance in some cases for free. It's like free money you save every month. So I do believe, I was talking to somebody this morning who was making some career choice about the business. And I said, I think it's the best time, the last 5 years to be active, because I do think the market's about as soft as it's going to be. And it seems to me that things can't get much worse in LA politically than they've been the last 30 days. I hope, I'm saying it out loud, I hope it doesn't get worse. But if nationally the rates get better, we're all going to benefit from this. And I really think that's an opportunity for people. So there you go. Okay. So what else? Okay, we have a great open house, downtown LA, loft.
Again, 2 to 4 p.m.
Check out the pool, man. And then Patricia, are you going to be there in a bikini out by the pool, or are you going to be showing the houses?
I'm going to be selling that baby.
Okay. Okay, so no bikini from Patricia, but feel free to bring yours. And I will not be
by the pool. Yes.
I will not be there on Saturday myself either. I might go there on Sunday just to jump in that pool and check it out. But otherwise, Patricia, someone to get a hold of you and talk about the loft or some of the other properties, or Bellflower or Downey. How do they get a hold of you?
Yes, or Lakewood, that home that needs to sell.
Let's get that one sold.
323-365-9909.
And Shannon, our partner, is not here because he and his wife just had their first baby, a daughter, beautiful girl. I saw a picture of her, and I know you have a daughter, I think, Patricia, as well, right?
Yeah.
I have one child. She's a daughter as well, and she's grown up and married and has 2 grandkids. So I think of your daughter as a grandkid production machine. Hopefully, he'll have the same joy down the road. But Shannon, we miss you, love you, and good luck with all that. I'm Bill Gross, at Bill Gross Probate on social media. We do this every week. Thanks for joining. If you have questions, comments, put it in the chat, send an email, like, subscribe. As always, make today your best day ever. Thank you so much.
That's right. Bye, everybody.